Sky-high airfares at Air New Zealand are keeping many grounded, with some passengers complaining they're paying two or three times pre-pandemic prices. The airline says people should book ahead to get the cheap fares, blaming a pricey combo of rising fuel prices, inflation and a shortage of aircraft for higher fares. Air New Zealand CEO Greg Foran is with us this morning to digest. Good morning.
Morena, how are you, Ryan?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time and for being with us this morning. We have been inundated with emails, as I'm sure you can imagine, from viewers who are frustrated with how much they're having to pay. Are we paying more? And if so, do we know, let's say this first half of the financial year, how much more are we paying in airfares for Air New Zealand fares?
Yeah, it's a good question, Ryan, and certainly I have a lot of empathy for what we're seeing in the aviation sector at the moment with increasing prices. In direct answer to your question, airfares domestically are up about 20%. Across the Tasman and longer haul, more international flights, they're closer to 50%. And, as you mentioned in your introduction, it's a combination of things. The key one is actually just getting capacity back there. So, we've got a situation with demand being pretty high, people very keen to travel. We saw that yesterday when we launched Bali. Us just not having the same amount of planes available to fly, we're bringing them back as quickly as we can. We've, of course, got a mix of inflation coming in there. Included in that is fuel. And the solution at this point is for us to get more capacity out there so there's more seats, and to make sure that we do everything we can to keep prices down.
Absolutely, and I know that what you're saying is true. You are working on capacity. You're going to get more planes that are coming into the country, etc., which is all good. But in the meantime, are you creaming it off the prices that you're charging right now? Are you making big profits right now?
Yeah, look, we've come out actually just a few weeks ago and updated the market on guidance so people can see publicly that we're back into profit. We're certainly not back into ridiculous profits. We are back into profit. I can assure you that domestically, with the price increases on average 20%, and I know that at a given point in time someone can find a flight that's 3 times more expensive, but I can assure you when we do the maths and we have a look at what we call the weighted average distribution of tickets, they're up about 20%. That actually is about in line with what we're seeing in terms of costs. So that's a combination of fuel and also inflation that we get with all the other services that we have to buy.
Right, so our prices have gone up, but your costs have gone up by the same margin. So you're not making any more money off these routes. Forsyth Barr did a research note in the last few months, and they said that for July and August, they reckon you were hurtling towards your 4th highest first half pre-tax profit in history. Your revenue per seat kilometre for long haul was up 40% on pre-COVID and 31% on short haul for pre-COVID. Is that not right?
No, as I said to you previously, those numbers are exactly what I just explained. I said prices domestically are up about 20%. They're closer to about 50% on what we call short haul, which is Tasman, and 50%. So our numbers are more accurate, obviously, than what Forsyth Barr's are. And, as I've mentioned, we've provided guidance to the market, but there's a lot of costs that are incurred in restarting an airline, bringing planes that have been locked up in the desert for 2 years, re-employing over 2,200 staff. We're paying people more, naturally, in order to get them back, and we're dealing with a fuel price which is double it was pre-COVID, and of course we've got inflation on all kinds of other aspects. So, you have to look at all these things in the mix, and, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to comment any further above the guidance that we've provided already to the market on profit.
Yeah, no, totally, I can understand that, and I think people will be quite forgiving given where you have been in the last few years and the situation that you have, the challenges that you have faced. Can you give us an indication of when we will see prices coming back? That 20% that we've seen increase domestically, when will that come back?
Yeah, look, we're doing our best to get that down as quickly as what we can. And, you know, we've got the first of a new jet arriving actually today into the country. We've got another one coming in before Christmas, another one in February, March. That extra capacity will help bring prices down. But the other aspect that we're dealing with is, you know, what happens in terms of the price of fuel, what happens with inflation generally, and what sort of demand that we're going to see out there. At the moment, demand has really exceeded our expectations. You know, people are very keen to get out there and travel. We launched Bali yesterday, and we sold about 3,600 seats in the first 24 hours. That compares to about 800 for New York over the same time frame. And New York was a very good route to get underway. So there's quite strong demand. We're going to get the extra capacity out there, but it's hard for me to give you a day-to-day when prices come down, but we are very conscious of it. You know, I'm on flights all the time. I talk to our customers. I get lots of emails. I'm very much aware that, you know, New Zealand's got a cost issue that everyone is dealing with, and we've got a responsibility to allow people to travel at a reasonable price.
Greg, technical question. The 20% increase in airfares that we've seen domestically, was that a deliberate decision by you to increase them, or is it an algorithm that's built into your website that does it?
Well, it's a bit of a combination of both, Ryan, but mostly it's a decision by us. You know,
Right.
we know what the price of fuel does, and we also know what the costs are that we're getting from other suppliers that we deal with. We have a look at the margins that we make, and we adjust accordingly.
Okay, given that, do you expect that you will make another decision like this to increase fares before the year's out?
I don't want to predict what's going to happen with the price of some of those import costs. It's very difficult to determine, you know, when fuel is effectively driven by, you know, geopolitical issues overseas. Our intention would be not to, but I can't promise that.
All right, Greg Foran, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it, as always. Air New Zealand CEO Greg Foran.